Yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu. In tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen, Riot Games comes to Xbox Gamepass. Witcher Wild Hunt gets a next-gen update. Vampire Survivor gets its first DLC on Xbox. And so much more. And of course, the big subject of the day and what we're going to be chatting about and what I want your opinion on is what the hell is going on with the Xbox Activision deal. Is it ever going to get through? All this and much, much more. Yes, it's the Xbox Monday Night Chat. Roll the credits. Yes, indeed. Yokoso, welcome. Kudasai. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Yes, it's Monday night, 10 p.m. UK time. Must mean it is the #1 all things Xbox discussion show in the universe, without a question of a doubt. And you are the lucky ones who know that, come here on a regular basis and watch it. And so for that, arigato gozaimasu. I hope you're good. I hope you are well. Of course, let's get the standard stuff out of the way. Hit the likes, because I like it. YouTube likes it. And it helps people like you discover content like this. And if you are new here, discovering this for the first time, oh my gosh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please do us the honor of hitting that subscribe button, toggling that notification bell so you know when I go live. And even if you are subscribed, just check. Just check that you've toggled that notification bell thing so you know, because you might miss it when I go live with stuff like that. As ever, let me know in the chat what games you've been playing. It doesn't always have to be on Xbox, could be on other stuff, but I'm always interested to know what the game du jour is, the game of the week, what seems to be the game that everybody's talking about or playing or having a go, or maybe surprise me with something that, I had overlooked or not kind of discovered. Always very interested to hear what you've got to say. As for me, and of course, I'd love to hear your opinions on the whole Xbox Activision Blizzard deal. Is it going to happen? Have the FTC, who look like they're going to sue to block the deal from going through, is it politically motivated? Have they listened too much to Sony? Have they got it right? All of this, it's a big, conversation. Xbox have bet the house on it, literally. So it's got to go through in 2023. So I'd be interested on your views. It is the Xbox Monday Night Chat. You are the chat. Let's chat about it. Yeah. In terms of games that I've been playing, I'll tell you what, I was very dismissive of Battlefield. I think if you watched a few weeks ago, I was very excited about Battlefield coming. Then I tried it and I was a bit, but actually I've got back into it and I've started playing there's I forget what it's called now, like Conquer, which is like recommended for beginners. Actually, it's a good place to start, just about kind of gaining territory, and I think you play with AI as well, a mix of AI and other people, so it's a good introduction actually to Battlefield if you're sort of newish to it. And I've been playing that a number of times, and actually I'm really getting into it, so playing via the cloud as well, and it's working really well. And I kind of feel like some games you just feel like, well, you may be a bit short, or personally I do, it's like, I just keep getting shot in the head all the time. But no, I'm getting the kills, I'm gaining territory. So yeah, it may be at the beginner level that I'm playing and stuff, but if you're having fun, that's half the battle. If you're just going in there and getting instant headshot and you're dead by, these kind of hardcore gamers, whatever, it's no fun at all. So if you can find the level that sort of suits you and you have fun, that's all that matters. And so actually, I'm beginning to learn. I'm on a slight learning curve with Battlefield 2042, and I'm beginning to really enjoy it. At first, it was always too chaotic, too much going on. But, you know, if you're a bit more strategic about it, stay out of the way, be a bit more sneaky, be a bit more sort of, a bit more strategy. Don't just go running into firefights. There was one bit where I was underneath a building, like a sort of a temporary building, and it had struts. It was on struts. And I saw some people coming, so I kind of hid under there, out of the way, and they didn't know where I was. And I took about 4 people out because they weren't sure where I was, and I could sort of just poke my head out, or just from underneath shoot them in the legs and stuff like that. And I gained the territory. So yeah, been playing a lot of that. It's been a lot of fun. Also, been playing Halo as well, Halo Infinite, but multiplayer, PvP. And again, I was a bit reluctant to sort of dive into it because I just thought, there's going to be all these hardcore Halo players and stuff like that. No, it plays so well. It is sort of beginner friendly, I think. A bit like Destiny 2 when you're a bit PvP at the right kind of level. And I'm, getting victories with teams. I'm not ranking at the bottom of those teams. I'm ranking, in the middle or near the top, gaining territory, nicking flags, doing my bit, getting the kills. So, I'm really getting the hang of it. Again, bit of strategy, stay out of the way. And so, those are the things I've mostly been playing. I'm stuck on Gungrave Gore a bit. But I keep trying that. But I'm stuck on that. But anyway, let's see what you lot have been playing. Let's dive into the early bird chat. As you can see, I can see you've been chatting away. It was really great. Remember to hit the likes, everybody. Always useful. Jerome in the house. Lovely to see you, Jerome. Jerome's been playing Halo Infinite. It's a great game. Just the campaign. I love the campaign. It's not groundbreaking. But does it have to be? It just has to be good. And I enjoyed it a lot. My biggest regret, oddly enough, is because it's one of the games well, it's not a regret because I wanted to play it through entirely in the cloud just to sort of show that you can play a AAA game, next gen, quality, in the cloud all the way through on Xbox, on xCloud. And I did it and, it was great. But now I've downloaded it onto my Xbox Series X. In a way, I wish I'd done the campaign again, natively as it were, but I don't like doing stuff again. Maybe I'll do multiplayer with somebody and do a few levels. I did go back and tried to do some other levels and stuff, but the PvP stuff, loving it. Not sure about the criticism. I think the hype was up for it and it just kind of failed to meet the hype, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. Maybe the expectations were too high. Who knows? Thank you, Jerome. Asley reminding everybody, hit the likes. It's just Joe, not Joe. It's never just Joe. Yeah, it's never just Joe, is it? It's the Joe. It's Joe, not just Joe. ER Gaming, good to see you. Sednar. Hey up. Dave, how are you, Dave? Lovely to see you. Jonathan Rowley is in the house. I can't see. Been playing Lego Star Wars. I keep tempted to start it. I think I fired it up. Lego Star Wars. I know once I'm in it, I'm going to be in it. Vampire Survivors. I'm not gone back to that, but it is such a crazily fun game. And we'll come to new DLC for it. TMT, enjoying the Series S and Gamepass. Excellent stuff. Ray is in the house, the gaming cyborg. Lovely to see you. Halo multiplayer. Right at you, Torres. And Battlefield, yeah. I've been playing Battlefield on... have I been playing on GFN? No, I've been playing it, oddly enough. Because I've been at my TV. And when I'm on my TV, I prefer to play Xbox. It just feels a bit better at the TV. Whereas when I'm at the PC, I prefer playing GFN. I still need to buy Evil West. I was kindly donated that money and I spent it on Crisis, which I finished. I think I mentioned that before on the GFN show. Almost dying. No, dying with Evil West is good, Christopher Torres. I knew what you meant. Battlefield again, Battlefield 2042. And yeah, Cyberpunk, trying out New World. Yeah, I need to get back into Cyberpunk. Dave's been playing Trials on his Steam Deck. Of course, you got your Steam Deck. Thanks to Stadia for the intro to Trails games. Hoping to play them all the way through. Big games, aren't they? Long games. John Rowley, yes, it's going through. This is the deal. I was wondering what you're on about then. Yeah, I think it will. We'll come to it. But it was never going to go through, smoothly. There's going to be hurdles, but as Jay Smith says, I think the deal will happen with lots of changes. There'll be compromises, negotiations to be had. Yeah, absolutely. Recently finished the Big Shock series and played a bit of Hades and Vampire Survivors. Good for you. Casewell bought Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 on Steam. Wow. When you say Battlefield 1, do you mean the First World War Battlefield as opposed to the first Battlefield? Battlefield I, which I loved. The campaign on that teared me up. Did. Hey, Suarez is in the house. I can't see on Xbox. Good stuff. Lego Star Wars runs great in the cloud. Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing it out. Did you know you play some of the Xbox Gamepass EA games on GFN, the ones that have been ported to EA app? Interesting. Good stuff. Gusky, you've got to get on the NFS Unbound. I think I know. I would keep looking for the demos, which we'll come to, actually. Demos. I knew there was... I paused when I announced all the things coming up because one of them I couldn't remember. Thank you. Demos. Remember, demos were a great thing on Stadia. I can't see says, I have Hades on Switch. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right. Let's crack on with a bit of the news, ladies and gentlemen, while you carry on chatting. So I mentioned it there, Riot Games, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to... Here we are. Riot Games are coming to Xbox Game Pass today. Now, Riot Games tend to be PC and mobile based. So they are coming to Games Pass. Well, they came to Game Pass last week. And so what that means, effectively, is, as of starting today, so already there from the 8th of December this was, as a Game Pass member, you can now link your Riot account with your Xbox profile. With Xbox Game Pass membership, you'll unlock access to the following games, receive member-only benefits and premium awards across select titles, and limited time only in-game rewards starting December the 12th. Starting now until the 1st of January. So as of now, basically 1 p.m. Pacific time. Get in-game rewards by linking up. So link if you've got a Riot account. If you haven't got a Riot account, get a Riot account. So it's League of Legends PC, Wild Rift Mobile, Legends of Runeterra PC and mobile, Teamfight Tactics PC and mobile, and of course the big one here for many people, Valorant. Now, I talked about playing PvP games if you're not very confident. It strikes me that Valorant is a game I should avoid because it's a sort of... there's a lot of toxicity in it, as I understand it. I think a lot of hardcore players hardcore PvPers play Valorant. But available to play on... with your Xbox Game Pass membership. So could be worth signing up to Riot Games. Let's give it a go. And this is really useful. So if you go to the Riot Games site on their news section, which is where this is, it tells you what you need to do to link the games to Games Pass. So yeah, it'd be good. It's a shame that I don't think there's a console version of Valorant, is there? I could just look it up, but if somebody knows, I don't think there is. But there we go. And of course, League of Legends, massive one, massive one. So there you go, Riot Games coming there. Of course, we also mentioned last week The Witcher, and it's got its patch notes. So The Witcher's next gen is coming to Xbox Series X and S on Wednesday. And here are some of your main patch notes. So basically what you're getting upscaled texture to 4K for various characters, including Geralt, Yennefer, Triss, Ciri, Eredin, and more. You're getting HD reworked project, HD monsters reworked, immersive real-time cutscenes. These are basically community-inspired mods included in there. Added ray-traced global illumination and ambient occlusion. Added various mods and mod-inspired content. Improved cutscenes. Added AMD Fidelity FX. Added photo mode. And then these are PC specific. But here's the next gen console ones. Ray tracing mode provides ray traced global illumination, ambient occlusion with dynamic resolution targeting 30 frames per second. I know that's going to rile some people, isn't it? On Xbox Series X. The Xbox Series S has no ray tracing features. Whereas performance mode gets 60 frames per second. So there is a 60 frames per second. It's just if you want the... I think it's just if you want all the ray trace global illumination and ambient occlusion and all that kind of dynamic resolution, you're not going to be getting 60 frames per second. However, plop it into performance mode and you'll be getting 60 frames per second with dynamic resolution scaling for Xbox Series X. So there we go. And a few quality of life changes as well. So I bought it actually. It was in the Steam sale, so I'll be playing it on GeForce Now. 3080 ranked up because it was $6.99 in the sale, about 80% off on Steam. So and the next gen update is free if you already own the game. So you know what's not to like, ladies and gentlemen. So that's The Witcher. That's The Witcher, ladies and gentlemen. So people obviously raving about Vampire Survivors, of course. Vampire Survivors gets its first Xbox DLC, and it's ridiculously cheap. So if you are a big fan, you can see what I've been buying. A new smart bulb down the side there. Anyway, we're not here to look at my advertising. Yeah, new DLC, Legacy of the Moon Spell. You recently, this is on Xbox here, you recently told us Vampire Survivors was your favourite Xbox Gamepass. Loads of people have been raving about it. By an absolute landslide. So it's getting its first DLC on this Thursday on the 15th. The Legacy of Moonspell. Best voice now. I think I need a drink of water to kind of give it the... Give it the best voice. In eastern lands, a clan has fallen. The Moonspell. Once... I messed that up, didn't I? Once vigilant guardians of a sorcerous valley nestled in the mountains, have been overrun by hordes of yokai and onai. Through treacherous... Read it properly. Though treacherous, this hive of spectral activity may provide some clue as to the location of a vampire. If not, at least it'll be entertaining to defeat thousands of wayward spirits in the process. So yeah, this super cheap DLC. If you can't get enough of Vampire Survivors, $1.99, ladies and gentlemen. $1. It's almost rude not to. Yeah. It's an indie developer. I think it's just one guy, isn't it? Or a couple of guys. I mean, it's a tiny developer. $1.99. Make, it's like buying, it's not even buying somebody a drink, is it? It's like half a coffee, buying someone half a coffee. If that. $1.99, rude not to. But there you go. Vampire Survivors, DLC, Legacy of the Moonspell. And then I mentioned, and this is quite cool because a big thing that Stadia did really well was demos, wasn't it? We loved the demos. Well, Xbox, we are excited to bring you 22 exciting game demos on Xbox Series X and S and One, available to play right now. So a lot of indie titles here. It's the Idea Xbox Winter Game Demo event from December the 6th to, oh, that's nearly over. Showcase 22 games. Ario 2. Dad's Monster House. Dead Pets Unleashed. I remember this was a game that was coming to Stadia. I seem to remember, I think on John Fourscar's Gaming, they interviewed the developer. So great to see the game and a demo being available on Xbox. King of the Hat. Let's Cook Together 2. Trinity Fusion. Oh, yes. Now, I have played this. I forgot to mention, I played the demo. So completely forgot this. I played the demo of Gory, Cuddly Carnage. It's a lot of fun. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers, but it's a lot of fun. I'm tempted to get it. It might be a bit repetitive. I'm not sure. Have you anybody played the full length Gory, Cuddly Carnage? But I played the demo, so I have actually taken advantage of some of these demos. And Wave Break, of course, was another game, a popular game on Stadia. So X and S optimized for Xbox Series X and S. I never really got the hang of it. I know it was meant to be like a skateboardy game, but it wasn't. It was a bit more difficult. A bit difficult, I always thought, to be honest, when I played it on Stadia. But some great demos there, and they're nearly all gone in terms of the time. It was meant to be till the 12th. Should have told you last week. Yeah, look, this was published December the 6th. Maybe I didn't get round to it because there was so much other news, ladies and gentlemen. That's my excuse. Right. Just close all them boxes, ladies. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes. Oh, no, one last thing. Mental health is always important. Why have I frozen? I seem to have frozen. Okay, well, I've frozen. I'm just going to switch my camera off. Just temporarily. And I'll keep talking. We're going to be talking about stay calm. Xbox supports mental health through the power of play. I need mental health now, look, because I'm frozen there. I said we're still going. You can hear my voice, and that's what matters. Ignore me. So you can get the calm. Basically, this is all about the importance of mental health. And this is an interesting article here from a representative from 343 Industries, of course, developer of Halo. But they're doing a special link up with the Calm app. It's a really interesting article, well worth reading. But yeah, there's a link up with the Calm app for when you just need to be a bit, calm down a bit, and just relax and chill. And just it's important to maintain your mental health. Right, can we go back to the main studio? I'm going to switch my camera off. Why is it just logged out there? 1 second. Main camera. Why it seems to have frozen. I seem to be captured in a moment there, ladies and gentlemen. No idea why that is. I don't really want to start the whole thing. OBS has been playing up, to be honest, and I'm just getting to the juicy bit. Bear with me one moment while I try and figure out what the hell is going on, ladies and gentlemen, with the camera. It's crazy, club. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Right, well, no idea what's going on there. So what we'll do is we'll carry on with the news anyway, without me. Go to the plain news. There we go. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. Let's get to the plain news. The main thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, one before that. Sorry, one before we get into the meat and potatoes. Interesting here. And this is interesting as we come to the end of 2022. And I'm just going to turn that off completely. As we get to the end of 2022, Xbox Series X and S is fighting to become the best-selling UK console of 2022. This is mostly in the UK based. We've seen great news about Xbox Series X and sales throughout the year through various regions. In the United Kingdom specifically, it sounds like it could become the best-selling console of 2022. This, according to Chris Dring of Games Industry, reports that just 20,000 units separate the Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. Now, given that normally in sales figures, the Xbox is third after PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, this is pretty impressive. And, people sort of slag off the Xbox Series S. There's a lot of sort of nonsense talked about the Xbox Series S. But actually, that's what drives a lot of the sales, because 500 quid for a console is a lot of money to ask. And if you want to make gaming and console gaming mass market, you've got to have an option, a slightly, as a lower entry option. And Xbox have done that with the Xbox Series S. And I think it testament to that is the fact that it's doing so well and could become the best-selling UK console of 2022. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the big news, and this is what I really want your kind of opinion on here. So last week, December the 8th, just switch my camera back on there. Last week, the Federal Trade Commission here sought or seeks to block Microsoft Corp's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Now, last week on this show, I said it seemed like the FTC were leaning towards accepting it that was what the sort of the considered view was on Wall Street and other industry punters, is that actually the FTC would not seek to block the deal. And then it seemed overnight it changed. And part of it here, in a complaint issued today, the FTC pointed to Microsoft's record of acquiring and using valuable gaming content to suppress competition from rival consoles, including its acquisition of ZeniMax, parent company Bethesda Softworks. Microsoft decided to make several of Bethesda's titles, including Starfield, Redfall, a Microsoft exclusive, despite assurances it had given to European antitrust authorities that it had no incentive to withhold games from rival consoles. So the issue is, or was, and there is some sort of misunderstanding potentially here, is that the FTC, Microsoft told the FTC, look, we'll promise you we won't withhold Call of Duty from PlayStation or Nintendo Switch or whatever. Okay, we'll make that promise. And the FTC were probably on the verge of going, okay, that seems reasonable to us. And then somebody said to them, well, actually, they made that promise to the European, to the EU when they took over ZeniMax. And then they went back on it. So people are saying, oh, Microsoft lied to the EU. And now the FTC found out about that. FTC are blocking it. When actually they didn't actually say specifically about ZeniMax and Bethesda Works that they would not make them exclusive. They didn't actually make that promise. So there seems to be a misunderstanding. But the FTC, for whatever reason, have jumped on this. The FTC, for whatever reason, has jumped on this notion and said, actually, Microsoft, you aren't good for your promise that you're going to not withhold Call of Duty from other platforms because of your past behavior. That's what they're saying. Microsoft has already shown that it can and will withhold content from its gaming rivals. The director of FTC's Bureau of Competition said, today we seek to stop Microsoft from gaining control over a leading independent game studio and using it to harm competition in multiple dynamic and fast-growing gaming markets. So that is the tack that they are taking. Okay? However, Tom Warren goes on to say here, saying the FTC's complaint against Microsoft has been published in full and an evidentiary hearing has been set for August 2023. They're either going to have to settle out of court, come to an arrangement, or it won't be until August 2023 until it's sorted. Since Microsoft has offered concessions and FTC hasn't sought an injunction to block the deal from closing, more concessions incoming. So they've not blocked the deal now. This was they are giving them their sort of day in court, as it were, in August 2023. So we can expect more concessions to come. So it is going to be a series of negotiations and compromises with both the FTC and the EU, which is very frustrating for everybody. And it does seem that the loudest voice of complaint, i.e. Sony, is the one that seems to be attracting the attention of the FTC and the EU, in fairness. So Xbox have pushed back. And Brad Smith here, VP or Vice Chair and President of Microsoft, has said, our acquisition will bring Call of Duty to more gamers and more platforms than ever before. That's good for competition and good for consumers. Thank you, Nintendo, because they did a 10-year deal with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo as a sort of an example of what they're prepared to do. And of course, Sony is still not agreeing to a deal. Any day at Sony wants to sit down and talk, we'll be happy to hammer out a 10-year deal for PlayStation as well. And this is following Phil Spencer's announcement that Microsoft has entered into a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo following the merger of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard King. So once that merger's done, we'll do a 10-year deal with Nintendo, and they're happy to do a 10-year deal with Sony as well. But it still doesn't seem to be enough. What do they have to do? What do they have to do? However, not everyone is playing Grumpy Grumps. Not everyone is unhappy with it. And a voice of, of balance, perhaps, or contrary to Sony, Gabe Newell of Steam here, Valve, Gabe Newell approves of Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And this is Gabe Newell of Valve, Steam and Valve, whatever, saying, "We're happy that Microsoft wants to continue using Steam to reach customers with Call of Duty when their Activision acquisition closes. Microsoft has been on Steam for a long time, and we take it as a signal that they are happy with gamers' reception to that and the work we are doing. Our job is to keep building valuable features for not only Microsoft, but all Steam customers and partners. Microsoft offered and even sent us a draft agreement for a long-term Call of Duty commitment. But it wasn't necessary for us because A, we're not believers in requiring any partner to have an agreement that locks them to shipping games on Steam in the distant future. And B, Phil and the games team at Microsoft have always followed through on what they told us they would do. So here we are, witness for the defense, if ever there was one, ladies and gentlemen. And C, we think Microsoft has all the motivation they need to be on the platforms and devices where Call of Duty customers want to be." So you've got Steam coming down on the side, strongly coming down on the side of Xbox. And not only that, somebody, an industry player, has written to the CMA here, the Market Competition and Market Authority, and here it is, and it's redacted. We don't know who it is. So guess, who could it be? What industry player? Could be Steam. Could be somebody else. Could be Epic. Has written specifically to the Competition and Markets Authority, the UK. So this is the UK, sort of equivalent of the UK FTC, specifically in favour of Microsoft. We hope this submission is received well. We write you into our capacity as redacted. Who is it? Mystery. Oh, you didn't see him. I was doing a sky inverted commas, fingers inverted commas there. If I just go back to, let's go back to studio mode quickly, just on the off chance. No. Anyway, get rid of the camera. Get rid of the camera. It's deaded that. Never mind. Anyway, so somebody, a mystery person, has written to the CMA, the equivalent, the UK equivalent of the FTC, saying the purpose of our submission is not to evaluate each theory of harm as represented by the CMA, but to engage in a discussion around the unique opportunity that this transaction presents the CMA to set the standard for regulators and companies globally when approaching merger and acquisition transactions in video and cloud gaming markets. Video and cloud gaming markets. We believe the CMA should use its power to help shape this dynamic industry as it evolves and provide a mandate for Digital Markets Unit. Basically, they go on to say here, there's a lot of verbiage here. There's been situations and transactions featuring big tech historically where global competition authorities have not stepped in, and the result of such inaction has failed consumers significantly. As such, we believe it was right for the CMA to refer this transaction to phase 2 investigation. Right? So they're saying you're right to do that. However, what they're saying is, they go on to later say, ultimately, this is the crux. So they're saying you're right to investigate it. There's always a threat with big tech, overreaching, having too much power. We get that. We get your concern, all of that. However, this mystery industry player, again, I keep doing inverted commas in there. Imagine I'm doing it. Ultimately, we believe it's clear that the proposed transaction will overwhelmingly result in positive benefits to consumers. Microsoft is committed to democratize access to ABK titles, including Call of Duty, through adding these titles to Microsoft's Game Pass subscription. This would allow access for Xbox consumers to a wider range of high-quality titles. Microsoft is seeking to widen access to these popular titles, which is in the interest of consumers, while it has been confirmed that Sony has a contract with ABK that prohibits them from adding Call of Duty to Microsoft's Game Pass. Touche, Sony. Touche. Yeah, let's just read that bit again. It has been confirmed that Sony has a contract with Activision Blizzard that prohibits them from adding Call of Duty to Microsoft's Game Pass. So Sony are the ones restricting access to Call of Duty. And here they are accusing Xbox of potentially restricting Call of Duty access to Sony. And yet Xbox is saying, we'll give you a 10-year deal, Sony. Wider choice and greater availability of content is an inherent positive to consumers. Consumers would only be able to play the new release, and also wider choice of consumers at lower cost. Basically, you read the whole thing. I won't go into it now, but you read the whole thing, and it is overwhelmingly very positive on behalf of Microsoft. We don't know who it is. Could be Google. Could be Nvidia. Could be Activision. But then I'm not sure it'd be Activision themselves. Could be Steam. Tom Warren's got a little thing on here. Is it Epic Games? Who is it's like Hong Kong Phooey, isn't it? Who is the masked market participant A? Is it A, the janitor? B, the mild-mannered janitor? Mild-mannered janitor. Is it Epic Games? Who knows? Who knows? But it's interesting. So now people are beginning to come out, sort of balance off Sony's grumpiness there, you know? Yeah, I think that's covered it all. There we go. So that's the big talking point, really. And I wish my camera was functioning as well. But never mind. But there we go. Let's go to the chat anyway. Where's all the chat gone? I'll go to the main studio. Chat's gone there as well. Let's get the chat going, ladies and gentlemen. It's a mystery, isn't it? It's a mystery. Right, so I'm just going to go back here for a minute. So yeah, interesting. Let me know. Let's have a look, see what you. We'll go through some of the chat, what you've been doing, what you've been saying. They had demos on Xbox. I'm sorry they weren't in the cloud. Exactly. Opportunity missed, I'd say. Definitely opportunity to missed. Is this something similar to what Boostroid does? Not sure what the question is, Shizzles. Are you talking about the demos? It's like Ubisoft Connect. Once linked, you can play the game on any platform. Oh, I see what you mean. You linking your account, Shizzles. Yeah. Torres bought all 3 Witcher series for $12 on. Oh my God, all 3 series. I missed that one. I missed that deal. Personally, I think it'll be stopped very quickly, though. Interesting. David is in the house. Game of the Year edition, £6 on GOG. Yeah, I can't wait to give it a go at 3080 tier. Indeed. Witcher 3 on Xbox, £6.97. Yeah. Get it. Now is the time to buy it because it is on sale on most platforms. Hey. I like what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, a rotating selection of games mixed with something like Chromebook perks and Prime Gaming. Good stuff. Struggle Boxing, the Series S is awesome for the price. It is. For the price, it is awesome. My son upgraded his settings on his Xbox Series S and on his screen. He's got like 120 frames per second screen, 1080p screen. After he saw what Sea of Thieves looked like on my Xbox Series S and LG combination, and it looked amazing on his 1080p 120 frames per second monitor. He turned on the HDR and everything, got the HDR and image and everything. Looked really cool, and that's on your Xbox Series S. I was going to go the Stream Deck route until I saw those Black Friday deals. Indeed. Grumpy Owl says, to be honest, I want FTC to sue Microsoft. They'll lose the case anyway. Then it's time for a big swipe through all the incompetent rotten apples inside their own joke institute. I mean, there is something political. You know, there is this political side of things about having to, at the moment, to challenge big tech. And this is the first big kind of merger acquisition that they can sort of flex the FTC can, politically can flex their muscle at. I'm not sure it's the right one to do it at, but I think it's the first one. And so I think they almost feel obliged to be seen to be acting because, this idea of big tech, it basically what it does is it distracts from the fact of big pharma. I don't want to get too political about it, but yeah, nobody ever questions what goes on in the pharmaceutical industry in the US, but tech. And ironically enough, a lot of this big tech, you may say they've overreached, but actually I think they've made, arguably a lot of them made our lives better. And there's sometimes a misunderstanding, I think, between the competition and mergers and FTCs about what actually is going on because it's so new. Yeah, wasting taxpayers' money. I mean, they've got a duty, but you just wonder how much it is politically motivated because there is this magnifying glass on big tech at the moment. Yeah, it certainly isn't Sony. Juicy, indeed. I work at a hospital. Even they want a 10-year deal with Microsoft. Exactly, Dion. They want Call of Duty on drip. If they eventually put COD onto Game Pass, the number of Game Pass subscribers will shoot up from 25 million to 100. Yeah, they made it there, which is not interest. They probably make more money. As I said before, I think they genuinely make more money selling Call of Duty on PlayStation. They're still going to sell it. The biggest, Sony just don't want the competition. They don't want the threat. They like the status quo. But maybe, if anything, by passing this deal, ironically enough, it could be a benefit to consumers because it will shake the status quo up. It will shake Sony's almost kind of, resting on their laurels as a sort of number one console. They're going to suddenly go, wait a minute, we need to up our game. And maybe Sony, you do need to up your game. Yeah? Because the gaming market and the way people play games is changing. But are you changing? And yeah, people still want to play consoles in the traditional way, and PlayStation still has the branding, a bit like, Apple, and people love it. But is it necessarily the best way to play your games? But it's the cool way. It's like, is Apple's definitely the best way, best phone? Not necessarily. But it's what the kids have, innit? Yeah. But if they rest on their laurels, they don't innovate. And maybe this deal between Xbox and Activision Blizzard will make the market more competitive and force Sony. That it's not a threat to Sony in terms of, oh no, Sony's going to suddenly disappear and collapse. It's a threat by Sony because Sony are potentially resting on their laurels and maybe need to shake themselves up. And so there is an argument to say that actually this is what the market needs. Xbox is in third place in the console market. Let's not forget this. So it's not going to suddenly rocket them into first place, but it is going to reduce the gap between Sony and Xbox. And that will force Xbox to innovate, move into new markets and do interesting things. And that in itself has surely got to benefit consumers in general, especially in terms of, cloud gaming. I mean, ultimately, we've always sort of said that Sony are a bit behind the game when it comes to cloud gaming. And maybe this will make them to sort of innovate in that space, or at least be slightly more aggressive on that side of it if they feel that it's a burgeoning market and the Activision Blizzard deal is something that's going to, really push Xbox further as the dominant player in that burgeoning market of cloud gaming. So that's my view. I think that the deal potentially is a good deal for consumers. Because, hey, we get to play Call of Duty on Xbox. We get to play it already, but it might come to Game Pass. But I think it brings Xbox closer to Sony in terms of competition, which forces Sony to innovate, and that can only be good for consumers. It brings, Call of Duty and other games potentially to a Games Pass, which makes that more valuable, which forces Sony to kind of look at maybe their, subscription or, the way they deliver games and stuff like that. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Xbox Monday Night Chat. Apologies for the camera. I hope you've enjoyed the show anyway. Don't know what happened there. OBS has been playing up like a beast all week, to be honest. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'm going to hit the outro. And I'll see you same time, same place next week. Unless, of course, you want to catch up on GeForce Now news, where I'll be here on Thursday. Until then, have a great gaming week.